People.
救命啊！救命啊 ！I see you now.
What's your name, sir?
金山，
Say your name.
金山，
Are you from
救
here?
命
Oh my God, they're just taking this man, dude.
！I see you. 啊啊
Dude, you guys.
啊啊！
This is so scary, you
No.
guys. Poor man, dude. Like, so many people are taking this man.
Why are you doing this? 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 Why are you doing this?
You want to be arrested as well? You'll be under arrested.
Yeah.
ICE have been hunting Latinos and Hispanic communities, tearing apart families, raiding homes, and instilling fear. But while these communities cried out, marched, and protested, some Asian American communities, they remained silent. They believed they were safe, and they believed that their silence, their distance, and their so-called model minority status would shield them. But shock on them, ICE is coming for them too. Let's get to see the reactions, then you come back with a deep analysis about this topic, alright? Let's dive into it.
For any Asian people who are selfish as fuck and are not standing in solidarity to Hispanic people over ICE immigration, just remember you're next and you are not that different from them. You know, all your excuses of it doesn't have anything to do with me, I mean, I'm legal and stuff, they don't care. You're gonna be targeted because keep in mind, you're not white. The system never will see you as white. They see you also as an immigrant. Guess what? After Hispanic people get deported, who's also going to be deported? Asian people. You're not safe from it. You're not white. They're not going to target white immigrants, and they can't target really black people because for a lot of reasons, honestly. So they're going to target you. You're not safe because you perpetuate racism towards other groups all the time. No, you are just as likely to be a target as any Hispanic person, honestly. Like, I fear you should care.
I know I've been posting a lot about the deporting situation, and you know, my mom, like yesterday, she told me, hey son, you should probably not speak too much on this topic because it might cause a problem for us. That's the exact reason why this is a problem. Whenever there's a problem, Asian people go, oh my God, and nothing changes. That's probably the biggest thing that pisses me off about Asian people. You realize the current situation is literally a crime against humanity. Look, I think 70 to 80, 90% of us can agree that if they take illegal immigrants that commit crimes or whatever, look, that's whatever, okay? But they're stripping people of citizenships, and they're also taking people that are citizens. So what the hell does that mean for me? I was born here as a citizen. I can't imagine my mom or my sister, or think about it, like you're a close family member, imagine they just get taken for whatever good reason. And at this rate, they're not even finding a good reason. You know what they're doing? Oh, he's brown, let me take him. Oh, he's yellow, let me take him. That's literally what's going on. So that's why we're in this crisis of literal, you know, ethnic cleansing, if you want to think about it that way. And I'm not exempt because I'm Korean. And then all the Asian influencers watching right now, stop posting about your, oh, here's my favorite boba, or like, oh, here's my get ready with me. No one cares. And at least talk about the topic first to show that you're human. And then you can start posting about your freaking stupid get ready with me. Oh, here's my favorite boba. Nobody cares about that right now. So at least address the issue, and then you can stroll on with your life. You'll probably gain a lot more followers that way. And who am I to say this when I only have 2,000 followers? Yeah, I know you're probably thinking that, But guess what? There's a lot of things that happens behind the scenes, and I've seen tremendous growth. Thank you guys so much for hearing me out and sharing my content. I appreciate you guys. It's time to go to the Ignacio. Let's go.
Why are so many Asian Americans so silent right now? That's because they didn't vote. Yes, they didn't vote because they didn't like Kamala from their internal misogyny or internal racism and felt indifferent enough about the orange man so that they thought that a no vote was going to the orange man. So the reason why they're not upset right now is because they voted for this. That's why. And that's not me excusing their behavior. I am a disabled person. I was advocating for Kamala before the election, so I had the chance to talk to a lot of my friends. They're not my friends anymore, but people in my life about how this election was going to affect me and people like me. And if they cared about me, why they should vote for Kamala. And they still didn't care. They couldn't care less because at the end of the day, it was all about taxes. Yeah, their tax break. The problem is Asians that have a level of wealth feel this closeness to white people because white people were the only ones that had that level of wealth for so long that they feel like they're getting a chance to be part of the white club, but they're not. And if I could give an insight into maybe why Asians are like this, it's because a lot of our parents and like even my generation as a millennial, we have seen our mother countries very impoverished. Like for me, I'm Korean, so I know South Korea's history. Like South Korea was fully bankrupt in the 80s and saw their first economic boom in the 2000s. It hasn't been that long, and they're in like the top 20 GDP in the world now. That level of wealth growth, normal citizens see that and think, oh my God, if I'm just smart enough and if I invest correctly, I can also get there. And if you look at South Korea, it's an oligarchy. That country is ran by like 3 families, and the main one is the Samsung family. And they have so many scandals. They have done some bad stuff, and the country just lets them get away with it. And if you look at the election turnout, it shows that South Koreans are starting to wake up to the state of like, oh, we're an oligarchy. But Korean Americans look at the past of Korea, see that you can still succeed, feel like there's a privilege of being in America, utilize the model minority method, and then try to enter the 1%. They think that they could break into the 1%. Wake up. You're not. You're not white enough. You will never be white enough. They will never accept you. For many Asian immigrants, especially from countries like China, India, the Philippines, and Vietnam, there was a belief that if we stay quiet, follow the rules, work hard, and avoid politics, we will be fine. This idea is rooted in the model minority myth. The belief that Asians are the good immigrants, smart, respectful, and quiet. And for a while, they were not the ones in the front lines of deportation headlines. So some distanced themselves from the struggle. But that comfort was a lie, and it was built on the suffering of others. Many minority groups in America, consciously or not, seek proximity to whiteness. That means aligning with white social norms, values, and silence. Believing that if you don't speak up, blend in, you will be accepted. But proximity to whiteness is not protection, it's a performance, one that can be stripped away the moment it's convenient for the system. Because no matter how closely you align yourself with whiteness, if you don't look like them, you'll still be seen as other. And that's exactly what ICE is reminding people today.
And so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. What is there to say? We support the deportations of illegals.
Sir, you look like the immigration issue you're ranting about. So the projection is wild because you look very illegal.
Asian people aren't really dependent on, migrant labor.
The loss of immigrants has the potential for a full economic collapse because of significant GDP reduction, labor shortages, increased prices, reduced consumer spending and demand, and billions lost in tax revenue. An economic collapse affects everyone. Immigrants make this country thrive.
This presidency promised that they would deport illegal immigrants. They're doing that. Why are you crying? You see it like these immigrants are waving the flags of other countries, burning down the flag of the U.S., and then you think Asian people want to support that? No, they want to stay away from that. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. Asian people don't want to focus on the negativity and, say what they're really thinking. Deport, right? Deport illegal immigrants.
He is the embodiment of the model minority, which was created to pit Asians against other marginalized groups, rewarding obedience, silence, and hard work with crumbs of white approval. And he ate that up. Tap dancing for people who don't even want you here. No matter how hard you try to prove you hate yourself more than they ever could, and try so hard to distance yourself from the very people who fought for the rights that you now leech off of. You can grovel all you want for white validation, but you'll never earn validation from the same people who call you Kung Flu and China virus. Remember that? Kung Flu and China virus? You are not native, so how do you think it is that you were able to come to the United States? You think it was the whites who just kindly handed you an invite into our country out of the kindness of their heart? No, you got here because black and brown people, far braver than you, bled in the streets. The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 made it possible for you to live your American dream as the oppressor's lapdog. You're welcome. The people brave enough to fight out in the streets are the same people keeping you here. That fight going on right now is again a fight that you will benefit from, just so that you can parade around like you earned those rights when you have never fought for anything in your weak little existence. Not your people, not your dignity, not even yourself. But be careful, because if they deport all of the people who fight for our rights, you might find yourself in an internment camp, because who's going to fight for you? You don't even fight for yourself.
In a new Supreme Court ruling, Donald Trump is able to deport Southeast Asian refugees to South Sudan. Back in May, 8 individuals were deported to South Sudan, and it included individuals from Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. This is extremely alarming because South Sudan is currently experiencing the aftermath of a civil war that happened not too long ago. This is really problematic, as those that are being deported to South Sudan experienced war and violence back in Myanmar, Laos, and Vietnam. Many of the Southeast Asian immigrants that are here in the United States today is because of the war, violence, and displacement they experienced back in Southeast Asia. And in general, we should not be deporting immigrants to a third country that they have no significant ties to. Overall, this Supreme Court ruling does not just impact the Southeast Asian diaspora or community, but it impacts all of us and definitely redefines and reshapes the immigration system and how it shapes deportations to occur in the future. The Trump administration has been celebrating this ruling, especially because they've been negotiating with countries to accept deportees back. For now, the ways that you can take action is I'm going to put 2 petitions down in the comments below that address the Southeast Asian diaspora. One petition urges the governments in Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam to better support deportees that are being deported from the US. And I'm going to be putting another petition that supports the Southeast Asian Relief and Responsibility Policy Platform that pushes for long-term US accountability. Beyond that, again, I want to acknowledge that this ruling does not just impact the Southeast Asian community, but other immigrant communities of color. And so I will be monitoring this situation and the rulings and how you could best take action. So definitely follow for more ways that you can get involved.
So I'm actually seeing the topic on why Asians don't speak up when it comes to a protest or speaking up for our rights, because they honestly do not think they're a minority. A lot of Asians live under that whitewashed world. And that comes from me speaking from experience. As a Vietnamese woman with black kids, I've heard every racial slur there is. Why are you with a black man? Your kids are gonna be dark. Your kids are going to be like charcoal. Majority of Asian people are Trump supporters. They don't speak up. They don't fight. They don't speak on the situation. They don't even like talking about the situation. And when they do, they sound stupid and ignorant. They don't like doing that because in their mind, they're white. Majority of Asians feel the whiter the skin, the better. And that's all I'm going to say on that. That's why they don't speak up. That's why they don't make a scene when it comes to fighting for our rights. Because they think this is not going to affect them. As if 12 Vietnamese nail techs just didn't get deported because they're illegal immigrants. So let's be clear on why this is happening and who it's happening to, because it's just not Mexicans, okay?
From the Cambodian refugees who had lived in the US for decades to Indian and Chinese asylum seekers being held in ICE facilities, these are not isolated cases. The net is widening, and now the silence is breaking. The same communities that once stayed quiet are now realizing it's not about who you are, it's about what you look like. And if you don't look like American, they don't care. Silence has never been neutral. It either protects the oppressor or empowers the oppressed. When Latino families were being ripped apart by ICE, how many stood up? When Muslims' bans were enforced, when black people were being brutalized by police, how many chose comfort over courage? Now it is your turn. Now the system has turned its gaze on you. And it turns out, silence was never protection. It was permission. The only way to fight a system built on racial hierarchy is through solidarity. We cannot afford selective outrage. We cannot only speak up when it's our community under attack. Latinos, Asians, Black Americans, Arabs, indigenous peoples, we are stronger together. When we stand for each other, we build a wall of resistance that no raid, no policy, no ICE agent can penetrate. Let this be a lesson. Aligning yourself with whiteness will not save you. Pretending oppression isn't your problem will not protect you. When you ignore injustice today, it may come for you tomorrow. But when you stand up, not just for yourself, but for others, you break the cycle. You become part of something bigger. So don't wait until they knock on your door. Stand together, because silence is not protection. Solidarity is. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video. If you found value in what we shared, kindly consider subscribing and turn on notifications so you never miss any update from my videos. Your support truly means a lot, and it helps us keep bringing you more insightful content. Thanks again, and see you in the next video.